What's up, everyone? My name is Ethan. Welcome to Splash City. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe, and let's get into it. So today, we have some news that the NBA is going back to its regular schedule for next season. There will not be a delay. They will not start around Christmas time like they did last year. It won't even be November. They're going to start mid-October like, they had been doing prior to, obviously, everything that's gone on in the past year, throwing off the schedule and the bubble, and then this season starting late, of course. So the NBA is going back to their regular schedule. So I kind of wanted to just go over what that means for a lot of the teams in the league, go over some of the dates for next season, and how that's going to impact everybody in the league this year. Okay, so here's the dates from Shams. September 28th is the start of training camp, and then October 19th will be the start of the regular season. And then there's a couple other dates in there that he does not mention as well. July 29th is the start of the NBA draft, so that'll happen on that night. The NBA draft is just a couple of weeks after the finals ends, as well as free agency beginning on August 2nd is when teams can negotiate, and then August 6th is when teams can officially sign free agents. So basically August 2nd we'll know what's up with a lot of the big free agents, but that week will be the start of that. And then we have Summer League going from August 8th to August 17th. That should be fun. Summer League in Las Vegas. I am actually planning on going to that. Fingers crossed that actually ends up going through, but I'm going to try to attend Summer League in person this year, and so I'm really excited about that one, but that's maybe a topic for another day. So we have all that crammed in there: Summer League, free agency, the draft there in like July, August range. And then that leaves only about a month after that for training camp there. So like August will be a lot of free agency and summer league and stuff. And then we'll get, September will be mostly dead until we get to training camp on the 28th. By the way, the finals might not end until the 22nd. If there's a Game 7 of the finals, it'll be July 22nd, which leaves that just a week before the NBA draft. So we could have content going, off-season stuff happening all the way through from like the end of the finals, and then immediately jumping into the draft, and then immediately jumping into free agency and summer league. So we're going to be going strong through most of the summer. And like I said, the only dead period is going to be between the end of summer league and then the start of training camp. So September is going to be sort of the off-season for everybody in the NBA. Obviously, there's a lot of teams that are already in their off-season right now, and apart from the teams that are in the finals, most teams will have a pretty significant off-season, but that's going to be where we're at, and it's going to be a pretty fun summer if all this holds up. So let's say that the NBA Finals goes to a Game 7, which would be on July 22nd. The regular season starts October 19th, so that is about 3 months of an off-season, which is better than it was last year, because last season, it was only about, a month and a half, 2 months in between the bubble. I guess it was more like 2.5 months, because it was like the start of October, like middle of October was when the finals were over between the Heat and the Lakers, and then we go, through the rest of October, through November, and then at the very end of December was when we started this season that we're currently in. So it was about 2.5 months-ish. This time it'll be around 3 months, so honestly not that much longer. It's not a very long offseason for the two teams that are in the finals. It won't be too bad considering that both the Heat and the Lakers are eliminated, so there's not going to be any team that's been playing a crazy amount of games. Like if it's the Suns from the Western Conference, they were in the bubble but they didn't go to the playoffs, so they had quite a long offseason last year. You have a team like the Jazz who was out in the first round. Denver's looking like they're on the ropes. They were in the conference finals last year, but Denver's down 3-0, so they're probably going to be eliminated. And then the Clippers were also out in the second round, so nothing crazy for them. Over in the Eastern Conference, the Nets were out in the first round, so that's fine, and their stars weren't even playing in the bubble anyway. I guess James Harden was, but KD and Kyrie weren't playing in the bubble. And then you can also go to the Milwaukee Bucks, who lost, the second round, so they're probably fine. On the other side, the Sixers were out in the first round, and they're okay. Ben Simmons didn't even play in the bubble, so or I guess he did play, but he got hurt and missed the playoffs. And then the Hawks were not in the bubble at all. So, none of these teams are going to be playing a crazy amount of games. It's kind of been discussed over the past little while, but 3 of the 4 teams that were in the conference finals last year have already been eliminated. The Heat and the Lakers both, as well as the Celtics who are in the Eastern Conference finals, they lost in the first round. Just the Nuggets are left, but like I said, they're down 3-0, so they're looking like they're on the ropes. So all 4 of those teams are going to be out pretty quickly here, and we're going to have some new blood in the finals. That should be exciting, and nobody is going to have to, go 2 off seasons where they're really, really quick and really, really tight, except for like Jay Crowder, because he was on the Heat, now he's on the Suns, and they might go to the finals. So maybe there's like another player out there, but off the top of my head, Jay Crowder might be the most tired NBA player next season. But other than him, everybody should be mostly okay, even though it's only like 3 months. But yeah, this decision means that the NBA is wanting to get back on the regular schedule. A lot of people thought that they might take this opportunity to kind of change the way that the schedule is structured, because a lot of people actually liked the December start, starting around Christmas time, late December. That seemed like a lot of people enjoyed that, simply from the perspective of the NBA doesn't have to compete with the NFL as much that way. I mean, obviously the first couple of months of the season are kind of during the NFL playoffs if you do it like that, but the first couple of months are not really that, important anyway. So I guess you could look at it both ways, but if you're starting in December and playing through the summer, you're really only competing with the MLB, for the for the playoffs and for all these times here. Whereas, before you were competing with the NFL from October through December, and it's kind of just becomes a thing where, does the NBA value that, or would they rather just keep how they've been doing it and trying to start the season earlier so they can spread out games a little bit more, and they would rather have the finals in June rather than July for whatever reason. So I kind of like the schedule structure this season. I've been a proponent of only playing 72 games for a while now. I think it just makes more sense to play only 72. 82 is kind of unnecessary, but obviously they're not just going to cut 10 games because that cuts all the revenue. So they're not going to cut 10 games, but I think this season was structured a lot better, other than the fact that they had to go so quickly. There was a lot more back-to-backs and a lot more 3 and 4 nights and stuff like that, just because of all the cancellations earlier on in the season. So hopefully, stuff like that doesn't have to happen again, and they're able to spread the games out a little bit more. But I was one who kind of liked the December start. I thought it worked better just from a competition perspective and a views perspective. So maybe they looked at the numbers and decided that they didn't feel that way, but who knows why they've done this. But yeah, season is starting right on time this year, October 19th, which is nice for me because that's 3 days after my birthday. So happy birthday to me. I get the NBA starting. A couple of years ago, the season started on my birthday, and that's some exciting stuff. So October 16th, that's I'm turning 21 this year. So that's kind of exciting, and I get the NBA starting right after that. So should be a fun time, and I'm looking forward to it. Even though the structure is not exactly what I expected, I think it makes sense to go back to what it was before, and should be a fun year. And like I was kind of talking about before, the offseason is pretty packed. We've got a lot of stuff coming at us really quickly here. As like I said, as soon as the NBA Finals is over, we could have the draft a week after that. If there is a Game 7, it's immediately to the draft, then immediately to free agency, summer league. All that happens very, very fast, which is kind of the trade-off we get, right? Because, during the first couple of months after the season was suspended, which happened in, March, and then they started the bubble in, August, or was that late July? I don't even remember. But those months, there was, nothing going on, obviously. I mean, all across the world, nothing was going on. So that's kind of the trade-off we get, right, of having, what was that, 4 or 5 months of just dead silence, no sports. Now we get everything kind of crammed really quickly, which can be fun for a lot of people, and I agree that that's exciting. So we get a lot of basketball content. The offseason's short, which is, can be kind of stressful for a lot of people, but I think it should be fun just to go through all that stuff. And like I said, I'm planning on attending Summer League in person, still kind of working out the plans there, but hopefully that goes through, because that's going to be really, really exciting if that does end up happening. So yeah, we'll talk about that probably again at a later date as that gets closer. But yeah, the schedule's looking fun, man, and I'm excited for next year. So yeah, that's all I have on the new NBA schedule. Like I said at the top of the video, if you're new, don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, ring the bell if you want to, leave a comment letting me know what you guys think about the schedule. Are you excited for a short off season, or would you rather have a little bit more of a break? I'm sure a lot of the players would rather have more of a break, but that's just how it is. World's got to keep moving on, and so we're jumping right into next year. So yeah, with all that said, I will see you guys in the next one.